Cupra is a badge that adorned many high-performance Seat cars over the years, like the Leon Cupra and one of my personal favourites, the Ibiza Cupra. But these days, Cupra is a standalone brand since about 2018 within the Volkswagen Group. And they've been quite successful. So in Ireland, they're one of our fastest growing car brands. That growth has been driven by the likes of the Born and the Formentor. This Cupra Leon sells in smaller numbers, but they've still sold about 300 this year. Now you can get it with petrol engines, diesel or plug-in hybrid. It goes on sale from about €35,000. And that's quite competitive compared to the likes of the Toyota Corolla, the Peugeot 308, the Opel Astra and also the Ford Focus. And of course you get to drive a car that looks as good as this. And if you thought this looked a lot like a Seat Leon, well, you'd be right, because this is one model within the Cupra lineup that is still shared with the Seat brand. But just bear in mind that Seat in Ireland no longer offers the Leon in the sporty FR trim. So they've kind of cleared the way for this. And it also offers some spicier engines as well. It's just a little bit meaner and more aggressive overall in its styling. You've got the Cupra badge, of course, which not everybody really knows what that is. It's certainly eye-catching. You've got these very nice LED headlamps, and there's a front splitter and larger air intakes as well. So I think it does compare well to high-spec versions of a Corolla, like the GR Sport or a Focus ST line or an Astra GS. I think it does look good. This one is finished in metallic midnight black, and I think it looks really good with these optional 19-inch alloy wheels with this copper and black design. Cupra do the most mesmerising alloy wheel designs. You get standard 18-inch, but if you go for a VZ model, they're 19-inch. Or of course, you can spec up like on this car. So what's it like inside? Well, I have to say I really like the cabin of the Cupra Leon. It is very like the Leon, the Seat Leon, in its basic design and layout, but it's been Cuprified, all for the better, I think. So you get some of their copper trim, you've got some nicer materials used as well, for example here in the doors, that's finished in this nice plush fabric, and of course you get these beautiful sports seats. Now, standard versions of the petrol and diesel get just a sports seat, but if you go for the hybrid or any of the VZ models, you get these full bucket seats with the embossed Cupra logo, and they are beautiful. You can also get them in leather as well, blue or black. And they just add to that sporty ambience. It's a nice driver focused cabin, nice steering wheel. When it comes to equipment, this one has got the heated front seats, it's got the heated steering wheel and also reversing camera. And then they all get this large touchscreen, which looks good. It's got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but there's a heavy reliance on this. It's quite a minimalist cabin, so even if you want to adjust the ventilation, you have to go in and out of the screen, and even to turn on the heated seats. So it's a bit fiddly, but you do get used to it over time, I have to say. You get this nice full digital instrument cluster as well, and you can change the view of that from a button here on the steering wheel as well. So overall, I really like the cabin. There's one last thing, is that there's no wireless smartphone charging as standard on this car. It is an option. So you've got two USB-C cables here, and this is how you'll be charging your phone, just so you know it, unless you want to pay extra for your wireless smartphone charging. What's it like to drive? Well, really very good, I have to say. So this Cupra Leon has something called a front differential lock, which means you can get a really nice tight, tidy line through corners. It stays really flat and balanced. So you could outdrive a lot of cars in this Cupra Leon. You might really be surprised with how well it handles. The steering is nice and fluid and precise as well. The first time I encountered a front differential lock was in a Volkswagen Golf GTE. It was one of the first fast Golfs I ever drove, and I do remember being really impressed with the handling. It's the same feeling here as well. So those are always good, and it's standard across the range as well. So it's got something a little bit more of an advantage over the likes of a Focus, which is a nice handling car, or a Corolla GR Sport or something like that. It's really nice handling. It's comfortable as well, I would say, for the most part. A little bit of firmness, but nothing too much to worry about. Dynamic chassis control is standard on some of the models, like the VZ models, and then it's an option on others, like this one. It's actually fitted with it. So you can switch between comfort, sport, or individual. The sport is actually quite nice. I like the extra little bit of firmness. I think it adds to the atmosphere of the car. Now, when it comes to engines, you get some spicier engine options than in the Seat Leon range. At the moment, it's 1 litre petrol and 2 litre diesel. Here you can get that 1.5 litre petrol engine. So it's got 150 horsepower, and it's a nice little engine that. Then there's also the 2 litre diesel, and that's got 150 horsepower. Both you can choose between a manual or the DSG automatic gearbox. Then the plug-in hybrid is available with 2 states of tune, 204 horsepower or 245 horsepower, just like the Volkswagen Golf GTE, the current one. So a little bit more punch there, and also there's the option to plug it in and drive it electric for up to about 60 kilometres. And then of course there's the famous 2 litre TSI with either 245 horsepower, that's front wheel drive, or one with 310 horsepower and 4-wheel drive. So that's a real weapon of a car in your Cupra Leon. Now, I'm driving the plug-in hybrid with 204 horsepower. It is expensive. It's about €48,000, though that's what you'll pay for a plug-in hybrid hatchback. The Cupra Leon is not alone in having a price tag like that. The power is nice, having that extra power. 0 to 100 is 7.5 seconds, and then there's also about 350 newton meters of torque. But you've really got to keep the battery topped up to get the best efficiency from it, because otherwise it does get quite thirsty. So my average at the moment is about 7.3 litres per 100 kilometres. I'm not the best person for charging batteries in plug-in hybrids, but if you buy this, I think you should, to get the best out of this Cupra Leon. Now, the only thing I'm not so keen on is that it does get quite noisy. There's quite a lot of road noise, really, at speed. Now, it wouldn't 100% put me off the car, because I think it handles so nicely, but it is worth noting it's probably not the most refined compact hatchback on sale. But otherwise, I think this is a really good buy, particularly with one of those more entry-level engines that come in under €40,000. Then I think it compares really well to the likes of a Corolla GR Sport or a Focus ST line. This car is built on the same platform as the Volkswagen Golf and also the Audi A3, some other Volkswagen Group cars and SUVs. So it is good for legroom, I have to say. It does feel generous, particularly as well as the 2 outer seats, because you do have this large transmission tunnel here, so it's not going to be so comfortable for somebody in the middle. But you do get an armrest with cup holders. There's a hatch that opens through to the boot. There's pockets on the back of these bucket seats, and you also get tri-zone climate control as standard. You can adjust that using those sliders. You've got vents, and there's 2 USB-C ports. So generally it's a nice place to sit here in the back of the Cupra Leon. I love the rear styling of this Cupra Leon. It's very sporty. You've got this rear diffuser effect. There's also copper tips on those exhausts. They're fake, but I like them for that styling that they give. You've got a very pronounced roof spoiler. And of course, Cupra spelled out there, and the full width light bar, all very dramatic. Now the boot opens to reveal about 270 litres in the plug-in hybrid hatchback. Now that's not great, but you'll still fit a few bags or suitcases in there. If you go for a standard petrol or diesel, it's about 380 litres, which is more competitive for a 5-door hatchback. And there is also the Sports Tourer available as well, with about 470 litres. So that's just a quick look at the Cupra Leon. If you liked this video, please give it a like and maybe think about subscribing as well. I'd really appreciate that. And you can read a full review of this over on changinglanes.ie. I left a link in the description below the video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.